ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। ॐ धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षिये सूतमामुनिः शौनकादिषिभ्यो इत्यादिषिभ्यो वैशम्पायनादिषिभ्यो प्रह्लादादिभक्तिजनेभ्यो इत्यादि नवग्रहदेवताभ्यो मत्स्यावतारेभ्यो नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तिदत्तात्रेय ग्रीवादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती स्वरूपिणी नमः। आदिपराशक्तिमात्रे नमः। वर्यादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। माता पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओं श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वा अन्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ द्वाविंशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच श्री उद्धव उवाच फ्रॉम 25 श्लोक। इति नाना प्रसंख्यानं तत्त्वानां ऋषिभिः कृतं सर्वं न्याय्यं युक्तिमत्वात् विदुषां किम् अशोभनम्। उद्धव उवाच प्रकृतिः पुरुषश्चोभौ यद्यप्यात्मविलक्षणौ अन्योन्यापाश्रयात् कृष्ण दृश्यते न भिदातयोः। प्रकृतौ लक्ष्यते हि आत्मा प्रकृतिश्च तथात्मनि। एवं मे पुण्डरीकाक्ष महान्तं संशयं हृदि छेत्तुमर्हसि सर्वज्ञ वचोभिर्नयनैपुणैः। त्वत्तो ज्ञानं हि जीवानां प्रमोषस्तेऽत्र शक्तितः। त्वमेव ह्यात्ममायायाः गतिं वेत्थ न चापरः। श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकृतिः पुरुषश्चेति विकल्पः पुरुषर्षभा। एष वैकारिकः सर्गः गुणव्यतिकरात्मकः। ममाङ्गमाया गुणमय्यनेकधा विकल्पबुद्धिश्च गुणैर्विधत्ते। वैकारिकस्त्रिविधो अध्यात्ममेकम् अतादिदैवमधिभूतमन्यतो। दृग्रूपमार्कं वपुरत्र रन्ध्रे परस्परं सिद्ध्यति यस्वतः खे। आत्मा यदेषाम् अपरो य आद्यः स्वयानुभूत्याखिलसिद्धसिद्धिः। एवं त्वगादिश्रवणादिचक्षुः जिह्वादिवासादि च चित्तयुक्तं योऽसौ गुणक्षोभकृतो विकारः प्रधानमूलात् महतः प्रसूतः। अहं त्रिवृत् मोह विकल्प हेतुः वैकारिकस्तामस ऐन्द्रियश्च आत्मा परिज्ञानमयो विवादः। यस्तीति नास्तीति भिदार्थनिष्ठः व्यर्थोऽपि नैवोपरमेत पुंसां मत्तः परावृत्तधियां स्वलोकात्। उद्धव उवाच त्वत्तः परावृत्तधियः स्वकृतैः कर्मभिः प्रभो उचावचान्यथा देहान् गृह्णन्ति विसृजन्ति च तन्ममाख्याहि गोविन्द दुर्विगाह्यमनात्मभिः न ह्येतत् प्रायशो लोके विद्वांसः सन्ति वञ्चिताः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मनः कर्ममयं नॄणाम् इन्द्रियैः पञ्चभिर्युतं लोकात् लोकं प्रयात्यन्य आत्मा तदनुवर्तते ध्यायन्मनोनुविषयान् दृष्टान् वानुश्रुतान् अथ उद्यत्सीदत् कर्मतन्त्रं स्मृतिस्तदनुशाम्यति विषयाभिनिवेशेन नात्मानं यत्स्मरेत् पुनः जन्तोर्वै कस्यचित् हेतोः मृत्युरत्यन्तविस्मृतिः जन्म तु आत्मतया पुंसः सर्वभावेन भूरिदा विषयस्वीकृतिं प्राहुः यथा स्वप्नमनोरथः स्वप्नं मनोरथं चेत्थं प्राक्तनं न स्मरत्यसौ तत्र पूर्वमिवात्मानम् अपूर्वं चानुपश्यति इन्द्रियायन सृष्ट्येदं त्रैविध्यं भाति वस्तुनि वैरन्तर्भिदा हेतुः जनो असज्जनकृत् यथा नित्यदा हि अङ्गभूतानि भवन्ति न भवन्ति च कालेनालक्ष्यवेगेन सूक्ष्मत्वात् तत् न दृश्यते यथार्चिषां स्रोतसां च फलानां वा वनस्पतेः तथैव सर्वभूतानां वयोवस्थादयः कृताः सोऽयं दीपोर्चिषां यद्वत् स्रोतसां तदिदं जलम् सोऽयं पुमान् इति नॄणां वृषागीर्धीर्वृषायुषां मा स्वस्य कर्मबीजेन जायते सोऽप्ययं पुमान् म्रियते वामरो भ्रान्त्या यथाग्निर्दारुसंयुतः निषेकगर्भजन्मानि बाल्यकौमारयौवनं वयो मध्यं जरामृत्युः इत्यवस्थाः तनोर्नव एतामनोरथमैः यन्यस्योच्चावचास्तनोः गुणसङ्गादुपाधत्ते क्वचित् कश्चित् जहाति च आत्मनः पितृपुत्राभ्याम् अनुमेयौ भवाप्ययौ न भवाप्येवस्तूनाम् अभिज्ञोद्वयलक्षणः तरोर्बीजविपाकाभ्यां यो विद्वान् जन्म संयमौ तरोर्विलक्षणो द्रष्टा एवं द्रष्टा तनोः पृथको प्रकृतेरेवमात्मानम् अविविच्या बुधः पुमान् तत्त्वेन स्पर्शसम्मूढः संसारं प्रतिपद्यते सत्त्वसङ्गादऋषीन् देवान् प्रजासुरमानुषान् तमसा भूततिर्यक्त्वं भ्रामितो याति कर्मभिः नृत्यतो गायतः पश्यन् यथैवानुकरोति तान् एवं बुद्धिगुणान् पश्यन् अनीहोऽप्यनुकार्यते यथाम्भसा प्रचलता तरवोऽपि चला इव चक्षुषा भ्राम्यमाणेन दृश्यते भ्रमतीव भूः यथा मनोरथधियः विषयानुभवो मृषा स्वप्नदृष्टाश्च दाशारः तथा संसार आत्मनः अर्थे हि अविद्यमानेऽपि संसृतिर्न निवर्तते ध्यायतो विषयान् अस्य स्वप्नेनर्थागमो यथा तस्मात् उद्धवमा भुङ्क्ष्व विषयान् असदिन्द्रियैः आत्माग्रहणनिर्भातं पश्य वैकल्पिकं भ्रमं क्षिप्तो वमानितो असद्भिः प्रलब्धो सूयितोऽथवा ताडितः सन्निबद्धो वा वृत्त्या वा परिहापितः विष्ठितो मूत्रितो वाग्नैः बहुदैवं प्रकम्पितः श्रेयस्कामः कृच्छ्रगतः आत्मनात्मानमुद्धरेत उद्धव उवाच यथैव मनुबुद्धेयं वदनो वदतां वरा सुदुस्सहमिमं मन्ये आत्मन्यसदतिक्रमं विदुषामपि विश्वात्मन् प्रकृतिर्हि बलीयसी कृते तद्धर्मनिरतान् शांस्तांस्ते चरणालयान् इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे द्वाविंशोऽध्यायः। ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम, श्रीभागवत शरणं मम, श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम, श्रीसूत शरणं मम, Shri Shukadeva Sharanam Mama, Shri Vyasa Sharanam Mama, Shri Narada Sharanam Mama, Shri Kumara Sharanam Mama, Shri Brahma Sharanam Mama, Shri Vishnu Sharanam Mama, Shri Parabrahma Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Paramanandamaadhavam Swarge Satye Cha Kailase Vaikunte Nastyam Rasaha Atabhivantu Sadbhagyah Mama Munchadakarhichito Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam Ekadasha Skandha Mukti हित्वान्यथारूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थिति अथ द्वाविंशोऽध्यायः श्रीयुद्धौवाच श्रीभगवानुवाच It is inevitable, necessary exercise every day to tune ourselves to the Bhagavan, the theme of spirituality as well as the entire Guru Parampara who makes that theme happen to us. Thus, having remembered Bhagavan Krishna, Parabrahma, Narayana, as well as remembering all the Bhagavata Acharyas, welcoming you all to today's study of Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana. Before that, a minute's thought is as we are becoming serious, regular, sincere in study of Shastra, what we have to reduce and what we have to increase is reduction of observing the people and finding faults with them or trying to apply what we have studied on the world around for various reasons. First of all, it is not going to fetch anything. Secondly, it will not help in our spirituality. Third, the world finally has to be discovered as the faultless, flawless Paramatma. So, for any opinion we make about the world, one day we have to reject only. So, why make it? These are the reasons for which we need not find fault with world, nor try to improve too much the world, nor to observe or impose the wisdom we gain on the world. Just love world when they are there to seeking some help, help the world. Then, as we are studying Shastra sincerely regularly, what not to be done is said. What is to be done is this wisdom. Is it only at the surface, superficial level, or is it sinking in me into my own heart, from where our actions, reactions, responses are expressing? Is this medicine of Shastrajnana going to the exact point of disease called as our own heart, where we are convincingly doing things wrong? Those wrong convictions, which are the base, which are the roots, this knowledge should go then eliminate them. Is it happening to me? Or this knowledge only superficial outside? Then I am continuing to live my own earlier life of ungodliness. We have to observe it. And then slowly, deliberately, it won't happen everything overnight, but little by little, we have to compare the knowledge gained and our life. And we can see there's so much in contrast opposite to each other. Then whatever knowledge new we gained, according to that, little by little, we have to change ourselves. The change is in our behavior, in our attitudes, in our understandings, in our acceptances, in our convictions, concepts. So many places we have to change. So changing in all of them is the liberation. Because bondage is in these things which were non-authentic, wrong, imaginary projections. Shastra that way helps if we take the help. Shastra has knowledge. Anybody it is ready to help. It is only we who have to be ready to receive the help of those Shastras by allowing it to transform us from within. The one who stopped struggling with the world alone can start struggling with his own mind, his own inner personality, to mold it to what Shastra says. He alone is sadhaka. The Adhyatmika sadhaka's interest in the world is zero. Should be zero. Absolutely. He should be minding only himself. All Shastra, all Adhyatmikata means it is around you. Adi means around. Atma means your own self. Around yourself, you are moving and observing yourself. And with the parameter of Shastra, finding where the things are going on. With the same guidance of Shastra, those wrong things we are setting right. That's called Adhyatmikata. For that only the Shastra is there, Guru is there, Bhagavan is there, Satsanga is there, the world is there, worldly people are there, things are there, all happenings are there, all expenses are there. I am also there in the world only for this purpose. So let us mind it little more, seriously help ourselves. Let there not be a day of dissatisfaction or regret or guilt that I studied Shastra, but no change happened in me. No benefit is gained by me, also by being with the Gurus for such a long time. That's again in our hands. That is where our Purushartha comes into picture. When we take responsibility, when we feel that dutyness in that responsibility. It is my responsibility which I have to take as duty for my own modification. Those I enjoy doing, I enjoy the result of doing. Just like I'm enjoying now the listening. Is it not good? We are enjoying, we are listening, enjoying that we are listening. But that will be permanent, nahi hai, temporary. Unless it helps us, the joy will not come. No, the cooking the food is a joy, but not a complete. It has to be consumed. In the same way, listening Shastra is a joy but not complete. It has to be consumed. The knowledge thereof should become our own. Okay. Now, Uddhavaji's Prashna. We have seen all the number of tattvas with which the whole world is made. And basically, it is only Paramatma behind, in his presence, his own Shakti Maya. It has got all these three gunas of it inherently. That Maya, little grassified, is called as Mahat. That Mahat expresses as Samashti Ahankara. These three gunas of Prakriti or Maya go into Mahat as well as Samashti Ahankara. From there only, the entire other tattvas which are required for making the world are born. The three tattvas that are required to be born in the world are the Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Antakarana is one thing. Then the Adhisthana Devatas to make them functional, other thing. Then the Deha Ityadi that are required for these Jivas to stay. All the Dehas are made by the Panchamahabhutas. The Panchamahabhutas have come from the Tanmatra. So the Tanmatra, Panchamahabhutas have come from Tamasika Ahankara. Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, Antakarana came from Rajasika Ahankara. The Adhisthana Devatas are expression of the Satvika Ahankara. Now, whether it is Adhisthana Devatas, Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, Panchamahabhuta, mixing to become body. Remember, in all of them, the Paramatma's presence is inevitable. Without his presence, the Adhisthana Devatas will not have themselves the consciousness in them. Without Paramatma's presence, the Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, Antakarna won't manifest there. Without presence of Paramatma, the Tanmatras, their mutual combination becoming Stula Panchamahabhuta, then From that, the entire bodies that are made, that won't happen without Paramatma. So he is always everywhere there. Let us learn this. And Paramatma is Shakti Maya, and the Jivas, Sankalpas or Vasanas, they are essential for the creation. Of course, with the Kala, from the Kala coming the Desha. So in the Kala and in the Desha, because samskara of the Jiva from the Prakriti of Paramatma, Maya, from the Maya, because of the presence of Bhagavan, the entire Tattvas, and from them the world is created. Whole world in whatever the forms, etc. The variety in the designing is because of the Jiva's requirement. If the whole lot of Jivas on the earth now have this samskara, the world manifests for them like this. After 1,000 years, the Jivas who are going to be here will be different. According to their samskara, the world will not be the same like now, it will change. Like it was, it's not like what it was 2,000 years back, 1,000 years back. Okay. In this way, go on pondering, some more and more truths or details will be revealed. But all of them are only the prakriyas to explain us the phenomena of the world, not to say the world is real or get caught up in the world, only to say the infinite Paramatma's Shakti. And then all these understandings should direct our attention to the self, to the truth, to the reality. Else, all our listening is only misguided, misdirected. And only in the recognition of Paramatma, we transcend the Jagat, whether it is manifest or unmanifest, we are no more bound by it. Jagat's presence or absence is not a cause of bondage or liberation. How we take the Jagat is the cause of bondage or liberation. Bondage is when you take the Jagat real and forget God. Liberation is when you realize the Lord, understand from that standpoint, the Jagat is not real. You are liberated. Let it be there, but it is not real for me. Like there are sweets there, but I'm not tempted because I'm diabetic, I'm decided I am not disturbed by them. So the presence or absence of sugar or sweets doesn't make me themselves from their side disturbed. How I approach them. If I like them, their presence I need. If I don't like, I don't need their presence. It depends on me. And once I know I am diabetic, और रहने दो ना रहने दो फर्क ही नहीं होता. I am not disturbed. I don't seek when they are not there. When they are there, I won't say don't be there, go away. Not I consume. No. Uddhavacha. Prakrutihi purushacha ubhau. Yadapi atma vilakshana. First sentence. Prakriti, Purusha or the Jiva are totally different from Paramatma. In Paramatma, neither Prakriti is there nor his reflection in the Prakriti in the form of Atma or Jiva is there. Jiva is at the universal level is called Ishvara, total level mein, individual level mein they are called Jivas. Morning class we are saying the word Dharma, Dharmas, Dharmas. Prakrutya Akashavatgnaya Sarve Dharmaha Sunishtitaha. There the dharmas is jiva, but the topic is not jiva, topic is atma only. Therefore, the ultimate topic is atma only. So there, through you and I perceived jiva, karika kara is indicating to what he is perceiving called as Brahma or Atma. So that we have to be very subtle there. Okay. So here that dharma said there is called Atma. Prakriti Purushasya Ubhav Yadapi Atma Vilakshana. Purusha is jiva. Anyonya apashrayatu. Then each one cannot live and stay independently. Without Purusha, the Prakriti cannot. Because for whom the Prakriti is for the Jiva only. And without Prakriti, how can the Purusha, Jiva manifest there, the Purusha, the Jiva? You know, first of all, for him to be expressed as the conscious entity, the Jiva, the Aham Vritti of the Prakriti is required. In that only, Chaitanya Atma reflects, then he became first of all Jiva. Then he needs again, from the Prakriti made only, these three guna made, these Antakarana or the Dehadi or Prana Adi. As a Prakriti se bane na. Without that, how can Jiva be? Whether his existence, his Punya Papa Karma, and the experience of the result of that Punya Papa Sukha Dukha, is not possible to the jiva without the prakriti. So, anyonya apashraya. Anyonya apashraya. Then, drishyate abhidatayoho. Therefore, we are not able to differentiate them, separate them. There's so much chipko to each other. One without second, they cannot. So, it appears to us that they are going together. They're so close. Like for all of us. Mind is there, mind desires are there. How can I be without desire? So too the objects are there. Therefore, when I say I have to consume, how can I be without consuming? So people are there. I have to friend or enemy. Without them, how can I be? Because for us, the life appears to be conducted only by these interactions. In the same way, he is asking. Then prakrito lakshyate hi atma. Just now we said it. He, in that prakriti only the jiva is seen. Then atma prakrutishcha tatha atmani. Again, the other one is dependent on this dependent on that. So, how to understand this mutual relation, which is functional now? How to separate both of them? And thus, the Purusha or the Jiva detaches from the Prakriti and goes back into his Swarupa. Is it possible? In short, to me as a Jiva, getting identify the Prakriti and thus getting the bondage looks to be permanent. I may not come out of the bondage because one without other seems to be non-existent. So close they are to each other. What it is there actually there is liberation? Is there actually an experience of me beyond Prakriti Purushatva as an Atma? For that, the Purusha, the Jiva, the Sadhaka should get detached from the Prakriti. Is it possible? It seems to be impossible only. It's like for a Kami, Krodhi. It looks an impossibility for them to be without them. For a drunkard, for any habit person, उसके बिना हो ही नहीं सकता. For a power person in the power, for him it's a misery. They like cry like a child only if the power is not given because that intoxication identification. In the same way, at this level of not deeply contemplating, Uddhava has got this doubt for himself and for all of us. What to do, how to do. Now I tell you, the answer given by Lord Krishna in this entire chapter is pakka exactly the summary of Mandukya Upanishad. And very deep, very detailed, very exhaustive, and very complete. The way the Prakriti, the mind works to bind all of us, as completely, clearly, beautifully explained here in this next portion of Bai's chapter, very less places it is there. Only thing is, every shloka, every word, like a research scholar, we have to thoroughly study, investigate, and cull out or bring out the essence, gist of it, which is possible only by our own fully dedicated, concentrated effort, along with the kripa of the entire acharyas of Bhagavata, including Lord Krishna. Now, here Krishna himself is Acharya. उनके कृपा हमारे ट्यूनिंग के बिना इनके अंदर के रहस्यों का समझ होता नहीं. एक बार हो गया तो पूरा वो जो है ना सीक्रेट सब खुल गया. All secrets are revealed. All secrets of bondage, liberation are revealed. We have to deeply go into that. Some of those vasanas, the extortedness, rajotamo guna, these are the abstractions. When we don't leave them, no, we don't become qualified for being blessed with liberation with this knowledge. Okay. Now, evam me pundarikaksha. In this way, for me, e pundarikaksha, lotus-eyed Lord, mahantam samshayam hrudi. A deep-rooted doubt is there in my heart that though they are apart from Paramatma, Paramatma is beyond these two, realizing Paramatma is a mukti, but at this level, these two Prakriti Purusha means Jiva are so identified each other, one without other cannot exist only. How to separate them? Though this question is so pertinent practically, theoretically actual बात ऐसा है ना Prakriti doesn't need Purusha, it just stays. Purusha doesn't need Prakriti. The wife never needs a husband if she can be independent. Husband never needs a wife if his wife is enough. But when they don't know it, they come together. Then they continue. Everywhere that is so. If Shishya is very contemplative deeply inside, Guru is not required. Guru is reveling in himself what is the need of him to be a teacher to teach to a disciple. But when we assume the inabilities or requirements, when we come together, that is where we have to break these shackles, which is very deep. It's not as easy as said. In fact, saying and understanding itself is difficult. Okay. Now, Mahantam Samshyam Hrudi Chetumarhasi Sarvagnya. Oh, Sarvagnya Lord, you are the one who please kindly do the Chedanam of that Samshaya. Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha. Therefore, do the Chedanam of Samshaya. So, Guru, when we tune to him and ask question, when from his experience, when he gives the answer, that does the Chedanam of that question by giving this correct understanding. Sometimes the understanding need not be the answer to the question. Sometimes the understanding can be the rejection of question. Sometimes it can be transcending the question. Sometimes giving some other answer to this, like in the earlier portion also. Krishna asked Arjuna asked something about the thing. He told about them at the end only, but in the beginning he went on telling whole theory. Here also you will see, to this direct question he will answer after 20 shlokas. To this question, direct answer. Before that, he develops the whole subject to reach us to that experience or that knowledge. So, when we ask a question, from where the question is born, we may not know, the Guru knows. So, from the deep level, he answers. Like I told you yesterday, Arjuna's question is, should I fight the war or not? And Bhagavan said, this fellow decided to fight the war, all that suddenly, kahan se aaya? He went into deep analysis of where from question came from Arjuna, for Arjuna. So he understood that deeply he is not fully established in theoretical knowledge of Atma and the goal as Atma. Then only the superficial level में confusion होता है. धर्माधर्म का जिज्ञासा और मीमांसा आत्म लक्ष्य है ये नहीं जानने से ज़्यादा गड़बड़ होता है. If you know the Lakshya as Atma, then the Dharma Dharma Jignasa is easy to understand. That's why he gave that knowledge first, Atma Jnana. That keeping that as goal, meditation as the means, purification of Antakarna as a qualification. Therefore, do the duty of Dharma is the immediate work. Fighting the war. Not only fighting war, but even after this, whatever you have to do as Karma Yoga for purifying your Antakarna. With that, you meditate on the knowledge which I give you about the self. And when you meditate, you realize your real self. Thus, you are liberated. That's the teaching there. Everywhere it is like in all our Shastra. Here also. Now, wonderful one point. See, Tattva Jnanam hi Jivanam. Is it not? Bhagavan, all the knowledge, theoretical or experiential, is by your grace. Therefore, it is our seeking the knowledge and liberation. In that, if we add it as a prayer to the Lord, that our seeking of knowledge for liberation, applied in front of Lord as our prayer or request, invokes the Lord only to appear as Guru in our life. Lord is for all, Guru for only disciples. Disciples can be 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, 1,000, depends. Even they are 100 or 1,000, it is always again 1 to 1 only. That capacity will be there in the Guru to teach to, like Gurudev's lectures. Even if 10,000 are there, they are 1 to 1. Everyone, they take from Gurudev's lectures what they need. Thus, he could categorize in his lecture the needs of so many speakers, so many listeners, audience, seekers. That's how it is. That's a different point. So, Tattva Jnanam is explained for us. If we need Jnanam, whether Vyavaharika Paravidya Jnanam kaho, Paramarthik Paravidya Jnanam kaho, it is by grace of Lord. So, note that point. Such simply said points are bearing lot of heaviness, with lot of weightage as regards their help in our life sadhana concerned. That's why, remember, every day we pray to Gurudev and God, please make us understand this Shastra. That's how we are able to talk at least little. Otherwise, how dare it is to take up such huge Purana Itihasa and study them and talk on that. He is the one who is awakening the all speeches. Yonta pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjivayati. The sleeping speech is woken up by him. Not only vocal speech. But before the vocal speech comes, what to speak at the mind level, the understanding speech, if that is not there, it will be like some people when they are given mic, they don't have the habit of speaking. वो लोग इतने कंफ्यूज होते हैं 1 मिनट में बंद करके रख देते हैं इन दैट 1 minute also they talk something tangentially only nothing related to topic. Some people talk any topic you for 10 hours. How is it happening? Their inner mana speech also is awakened to them by various upasanas of this life or earlier life. But it is by grace of God, the Pashyanti Paramadhyama Vani, all are becoming activated to express. And all these are expressing knowledge, seeking knowledge, giving knowledge, transferring knowledge. So, tvattaha jnanam hi jivanam. Then, pramosha te atra shaktitaha. Even pramosha also is because of you only. What is the pramosha? That forgetfulness of that knowledge is also because of you. No, it is a big subject. I will not talk so much in that. But one point will say it will help in developing surrender. Ki, giver of jnanam is he. This, the one who hides the jnanam also is he only. Therefore, even when we have behaved in a mood of ajnanam, भगवान ये आप ही की कृपा से हुआ आप जो चाहते हो जाए. You know, like that Manthara and Kaikeyi. Their jnanam that Rama is Bhagavan, Rama is Maryada Purushottam, Rama is greater than Dasharatha. If he becomes king, entire world is happy. That jnanam is made covered. Pramosha कहते हैं उसको. That is required there. Kumbhakarna. He is doing tapasya. He could have asked a lot. Bhagavan has covered his jnanam there. Then he asked for nidra. प्रमोशः भी उनसे होता है. That is many a time. Loka Kalyanam for helping one jiva it can be, or for helping many jivas that time. ये सब जो higher combinations, calculations, permutations होते हैं, you and I cannot conceive at this level. Any stories in Purana Itihasa you see. See like Durvasa Ambarisha Charitra Vyasa. How can such a great saint Durvasa become angry and throw Krutya on Ambarisha? He's a Brahmagnani. Yeah, his nature is anger. That is only to prove the bhakti is greater than Brahmajnana. In that context. That the Kritya which was protecting Ambarisha started chasing Ambarisha, our Durvasaji. No, it doesn't mean Durvasa is not a Jnani there. Then, but he has acted like an Ajnani by becoming angry and so this you and I cannot understand from our level. Only by the grace of God, Guru, the essence in that we catch. All the stories okay there. Superficially, if you see, it conveys something else. But deeply, if you see, the Lord wanted to establish the supremacy of bhakti there. Aham bhakta paradhina. You know that? In the same way, Lord Rama asked Sita to, do the Agni Pravesha. No, superficially it's different. But deeply, if you see, it has different purpose. It is not to doubt her, but it is to make the world remove their doubts. ठीक है पर दो बातें ज्ञान इज फ्रॉम यू प्रमोश इज फ्रॉम यू मत्तः स्मृति ज्ञानम अपोहनम and ajnanam or forgetfulness. Pramosha means forgetfulness mainly, not ajnanam. Is a great boon than jnanam. Because more than jnana krita satkarma, we have done ajnana krita dushkarma and dushta anubhava only we had more. in thousands of our earlier lives in this life. अब ये सब याद रहते ना तो नरक हो जाएगा हमारा जीवन. Bhagavan says, forget and move ahead. If possible, learn little from that. Even if you don't learn, go ahead. But don't look back and hold on to all the past miseries. Else, you cannot take them. How many people insulted me? How many papa I have done? How many negative thoughts I had? Thousands and thousands every day. And if I remember all of that, in earlier lives, I may be lion or tiger killing so many animals. If all I remember that, it will be confusing to me. कितने मैंने गफलत घोटाले किए होंगे किसको पता. Isn't it? Therefore, Lord made us forget them. No, we may be saintly also. So, the saintlyhood will not be remembered even if you are saint. But the samskaras of them will be continuing. That's how you are doing sadhana. I'll not be reminded that I was a saint. But if at all you are a saint, those lakshanas of saintliness will be passed on to this life. But will not be told you are a saint in Hinduism or Islam or Christianity. You can be anywhere next life. It is not that only here. कहीं भी ज़्यादा द्वेष करोगे तो उधर फायदा हो जाओगे. इसलिए ज़्यादा मत करना किसी को. Where is, you see, when you are not guaranteed you will be born as animal or buffalo, how can you guarantee that in which place we are born? Not necessary in one. It's like flight ticket and all. Which seat they give, you don't know. Some of them can choose, but they are very, very important persons, VVIP. So to VVIP, great people can choose their deha to serve, but others is. What I'm saying, all the topic is pramoshaha. Okay. Then atra te shaktitaha. It's also your maya shakti. Okay. Then tvameva hi atma mayayaha gatim vetha. You are the only one who know the way of functioning of your own Maya Shakti. Aghatita Ghatana Patiyasi Maya. Earlier also it came not once, many times. Bhagavan said, other than me, nobody will know. उद्धव जी also repeating it, आप ही जानेंगे आपके माया का गति क्या है. त्वमेव हि आत्मायाः गतिं वेत्तन जापरा. Means in general the Atmamaya's gati, in particular at a particular time or place, how it is functional. So too in every jiva. In other words, what is the meaning of it is that you know in which type of Maya I am bound. You also know that you are the one who have imposed that Maya on me. And I know you know how to help me in coming out of that Maya. You help. General Maya, particularly here about this. How me, the Jiva, get detached from the Prakriti to discover my identity with the Parama Atma. ये वाला आप मुझे बताओ. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now Bhagavan starts answering. Now any of these Vedantic answers are understood only when the question is understood and we relate ourselves that question as it is relevant to us. Otherwise हमको interest नहीं होगा. Then बैठकर उसको नहीं पढ़ेंगे. Like the children in the school. All their study of subjects, they study as if it is for the teacher's sake. Therefore, they study, write an exam, and get the marks for passing them. But knowledge is for the teacher as if they do. इसलिए कोई किसी को पूछो पहले का कोई knowledge याद ही नहीं रहता. Like any superficial lecturers. Many a time we are also included that. We speak as if it for the people, not for us from the heart. Is it not? The question also has to be understood and owned. Then you can, otherwise, if you have to answer, understand the answer given by Lord Krishna in Gita, you have to be in the position of Arjuna. इस तरह से. श्री भगवान उवाच. Now, प्रकृते पुरुषश्चेति विकल्पः पुरुषर्षभा एष वैकारिकः सर्गः. गुणव्यतिकरात्मनः. So, Purusharshava, two thoughts said in this sloka. Prakriti Purushaha cha iti vikalpaha. In our own Ignorance led inability that they appear to be so mixed up that it seems that they cannot be separated. But otherwise, they are separate only. Prakriti Purushaha cha iti vikalpaha. They are separate. Not one, not identified with each other. It is identified because of our inability. And in the same sense, they have separated them by their ability. Therefore, they are vikalpa only, they are separate from each other. They can be separated. Idea is this. Not as you said that they are anyonya pashraya, therefore they cannot be separated. Anyonya pashraya is your weakness. They cannot be separated. It's your statement for you. But there are people who are efficient enough to separate. For them, sentences they are not anyonya pashraya, they can be separated. This is one point. So they are vikalpa. So the jiva in me can detach from his upadhis. At that moment, he is no more a jiva because with upadhi only jiva is jiva. When detaches from the upadhi, he is one with Brahma or Atma. So that possibility is made by the Lord. The sentence is made. You have to hold on to that. Always remember, only the possibility of something we hold on to, that we try to make it possible. If there's a doldrum or doubt regarding that, then we don't work honestly, sincerely for it. On the other hand, if the possibility is convinced about, effort will be genuine and serious. Whether I'll become IAS officer or not. From the beginning only you have a doubt, your study will be so meager. But if you accept the possibility, in general and in particular to me, then you will at least try by studying as many hours required, to get that job anywhere. Like here also, to know the self. If you say right from beginning, not possible, your all planning, thinking will be weak only, sadhana. So too, if I say I can't detach from the prakriti, your thinking will be weak only. बार बार देखा देखा मैंने कहा ना नहीं हो सकता मैं नहीं हो सकता because you have possibility you have not accepted. Remember, Bhagavad Prapti is possible. And the sadhana to do, to reach to the Bhagavan is possible. And in the part of sadhana, detaching from the world is possible. We have to believe in that. Else, there is no meaning in Shastra and Adhyatmikata and sadhana. And we would have not had any great saints and sages who have realized. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Prakriti Purushaha cha iti vikalpaha. Clear? They are not same, they are separate, they can be detached. Here, Purusharshava. So if you bring out the Rishabhatva in your Purushartha, in your effort, that like Rishabha, like that wild bull, you will be able to do it. So don't say it is impossible. It is now impossible. It is possible tomorrow. You can make it possible. You make it. Second line. Esha vaikarikaha sargaha guna vyatikaratmakaha. So this Esha sargaha, this word, with so many continuous constant modifications that are happening in it. The world in front of me going through vikaras every moment. This Srishti in front of you. And who is doing all these vikaras? What is making this world appear is Guna Vyatikara Atmakaha. So, the three gunas and their continuous constant mutual permutation and combination, because of which this Jagat is going through variety of modifications. Clear? The three things are there. First is Sarga, the creation which we are seeing, outer as well as inner. Second is, it is born out of the gunas. Third is, it is continuously going through vikara. Fourth is, the vikara in this because of the guna vyatikarata. The mutual combination of the gunas is keeping on changing. Samashti may be, Vyashti may be. Is it not? My behavior with the people. Just a small example. Sometimes very loving, sometimes neutral, sometimes very angry. How is this called world? You have seen a person, you have dealt with that person in these three ways. What did happen at that time? In you, the gunas have changed. When you are in Sattva Guna, you are very loving, kind. When you are Rajoguna, you become very expecting Vaira. When you are in Tamoguna, you become very angry or negligent. Your prapancha created by you, for you, by your these three gunas. Understand it this way. And these, therefore, the gunas we have to understand, master, transcend them. Then the world created by them, world getting modified because of their combination, all of that you will be able to transcend. जगत त्रिगुणात्मक है, इस बात को बहुत स्ट्रांगली समझना है. त्रिगुणात्मकता माया का लक्षण है. दिन त्रिगुणात्मक, the rajas tamas are binding, sattva helps to liberate. Sattva also is bondage, but helps to get liberated. First it helps to liberate from rajas tamas. Later on it itself dissolves itself in giving us the anubhava of the mukti in the form of anubhava of Paramatma. So these things you have to feel. Then slowly enhance the sattva guna in us, remove rajas tamas. Okay? हमेशा एक अवेयरनेस, वन पाथ, इट्स नॉट द पाथ, द ओनली नेम, बहुत सारे. Always becoming aware. Nowadays, in what mood my entire personality is there? Tamasic, Rajasic, which mood? If these two, then our works are not complete. Our ideas, convictions are not correct. Our performances are not perfect. Our results are not good. Then we have to aim it. Let me come to the Sattva Guna. Everything, the body should be in Sattva Guna. Prana is Sattva Guna. Mana is Sattva Guna. Buddhi is Sattva Guna. इन सब गुण से बनते हैं, गुण के कारण इसमें बदलाव होता है. So let me make it sattvic. Isn't it? Food and perceivable objects make a body and indriya sattvic when they are sattvic. You know, when the vrittis are of sattva guna, the mind becomes sattvic. It is in our hands. At every moment, we are slipping, we are sleeping, we are allowing the mind to slip into rajastavas. If we can hold on, then we can bring back the mind which is slipped into rajastamas into sattva. Bring back. Like right now, my mind is angry, sleepy. I may not be fully master or perfect of it, but at least I can say Om Namo Narayana, Om Namah Shivaya. थोड़ा तो उसका असर होकर सत्वगुण तो बनता है ना मन में. That's not the beginning. That shows the possibility. At the highest level, always in sattva-guna mode, not having iota of also the rajas tamas. Then what are the lakshanas of sattva and rajas at each of the body level, mana level, indriya level? वो data हमारे पास होना चाहिए. Then he now explains to us how the creation expresses. Bondage happens, sadhana to be done, etc. Mamangamaya गुणमयी अनेकधा विकल्पबुद्धिश्च गुणैर्विधत्ते वैकारिकस्त्रिविधोऽध्यात्ममेकम् अताधिदैवमधिभूतमन्यतो. So ममाङ्गमाया गुणमयी अनेकधा विकल्पबुद्धिश्च गुणैर्विधत्ते वैकारिकस्त्रिविधोऽध्यात्ममेकम् अथाधिदैवमधिभूतमन्यतो. So mama maya, one by one word. Hey Anga, oh my dear Uddhava, dear friend, dear Sakha, disciple, Bhritya, mama maya, first, Gunamayi. These two are familiar, so we are not explaining it. The my maya, which is of these three guna, anekadha vikalpa buddhihi gunaihi vidatte. This maya gunaihi, because is three gunas. So vikalpa buddhihi vidatte. In individual or total buddhi, it creates variety of the modifications in the antakara. So mama maya gunamayi maya vikalpa buddhi gunaihi anekadha vidatte. So it is subjectively spoken. In me, the Lord's maya of his three gunas is creating variety of the vrittis in me. Continuously the thoughts, vrittis are getting on modified. This is one explanation, one thing. माया के कारण, उसके अंदर के तीन गुणों के कारण माया से ही जन्म मेरे मन में अलग अलग विकल्प हो रहे हैं. As I just now said, 10 minutes back, very loving Sattva Guna. After that, little Rajasic, angry. And Tamo Guna, very sleepy or crying, cranky. The crying, cranky mode is Tamasic. The frustration, disappointment, all of the Tamasic Gunas. Anger, domination, predominance. All that wanting to make others do what we say. They're all Rajogunas. Good qualities are Sattva Guna. So one thing is what? Bhagavan's Maya, its three gunas affect my antakarana. As the Maya's gunas keep on continuously changing, so too our mind is changing. We are at a very lowest level of our control on ourselves and the maximum level of being controlled by these three gunas only. First you study, like any yogi or pranayama expert, he says, your body and your pranas are so uncontrolled and unruly. That's why you have all the bodily pains, energies, disruptions. He will make us study first. Then slowly through yoga asanas, the control on the body, the prana through pranayama, the control of the prana, he teaches us. Of course, a huge thing. It's not a one day's thing. ये पूरा जिंदगी उसके लगा रहे हैं. And unless through yoga and pranayama, if we don't keep our body fit, prana shakti full, neither bhakti yoga, nor jnana yoga, nor ashtanga yoga we can do. They are base. So that the Annamaya Pranamaya koshas are not only non-disturbing, but they are assets for our further journey. Without yoga pranayama, any Mahatma, any yogi of even Advaita Brahma Jnana, first and foremost through yoga and pranayama, they make the body prana shakti fit, fit for the further journey. Gurudev, Maha yogi is, Maha pranayami. Or else at the age of 77, with that vigorous movements and walkings and lectures, he could have not shaken the whole world. Example I gave you. In the same way, Bhagavan is telling, this is how the mind works, because three gunas. Now you have to study your mind. Studying Vedanta is very simple, very easy, and absolutely useless as regard the liberation is concerned. Because what is there further to study in Vedanta? It says you are Brahman, there is nothing other than you. Is it not to experience that? The abstraction called as the outer and inner worlds, which are made out of the subtle matter called as the mind, which are products of the Maya. Unless all this manage, do you think it is easy visa passport or what for that? So you have to study the mind, study the gunas, study the effect of the gunas in mind. Then slowly we have to do that. Like any cardiac surgery, any sensitive surgery जो बहुत carefully करना पड़ता है in the आध्यात्मिक साधन. That's why they give up everything. They have to go to jungle day in and day out. Only when there's a hunger after 5-6 days, once 10 minutes they get up, eat something, let the body grow. Again they go back for 10-15 days. Only in deeply studying the mind, the modes of mind, the gunas that are there, then it is very easy to fight the outer grass or enemy. तलवार लिया, काट दिया और मार दिया और शूट किया. बट द इनर फिकल माइंड, अनस्टेबल माइंड, उसको पहले पकड़ना पड़ेगा ना उसको ऑपरेट करने के लिए. चिल्ड्रन यू कांट कैच दे. वो इतना चिल्लाएगा, यू कांट गिव हिम पोलियो इंजेक्शन ओनली. 4 लोग नर्स लोग पकड़ते हैं उसको, तब जाकर देते. More volatile or more disturbed is the mind. So for some janma, they only try to hold the mind only. That's what yoga chitta vritti nirodha. It takes some janma, not one day. Because so subtle लगता है कि हो चुका है, बट फिर से फिसलता है. ये फिसल गया तो इतने नीचे जाता है, फिर से ऊपर लाने को इतना टाइम. Like the ant climbing the wall, it appears has climbed a lot distance, suddenly slipped, it comes to zero place, again he'll have to struggle. That's what they do for lives together. To make the mind free from tamoguna, rajoguna, feel in it the sattva then employ that sattva in the contemplation of self. Oh, janam, janam. But it is possible. Like today somebody realized self. What is his position that jivas 3000 years back? Must be a very lowest level of tamas rajas. But that day he started sadhana. करते करते आए, 3000 साल बहुत लंबा पीरियड है इन वन एंगल, बट द टाइम नेवर स्टॉप्ड लकीली. 3000 साल गुजर चुके हैं, but his sadhana helped him today to realize. So too, you and I may need 10,000 years of realization. Never mind. Like these 3,000 years are over, these 10,000 years also will be over. But do sadhana, then at least after 10,000 years we'll realize. I'm giving example like calculative. ऐसा मेरे से दस्तखत मत लेना कि आपने 10,000 साल बाद. Don't come and catch my throat after 10,000 years. I'm just telling, जो करेगा प्रयत्न उसको एक ना एक दिन सक्सेस मिलेगा. Yesterday, what Bharata said to Hanumanji Valmiki, if you live 100 years, if not today, tomorrow you will become happy. This is a general Loka Ukti has become fruitful to me. Means my patient, persevering, waiting with tapasya for my brother, the Lord, has not gone wasted. You brought good news. Today he'll say, Hanuman, तुम बंदर की तरह झूठ तो नहीं बोले, तो I'm not seeing the brother only. Then Hanumanji shows, देखो, the flight is coming. We're going slow because let us go slow and enjoy it. So, Mama Angamaya Gunamayi. Mama Gunamayi Maya Vikalpa Buddhi cha Anekadha Gunaihi Vidatti. Because it's Gunas, it goes on, brings Vikalpa in the Antakarana. That's what personally, subjectively creating samsara. Now, Vaikanika Tirvidaha Adhyatmamekam at Aditaivam at Adibhutam at Anyatu. Be attentive. The same Maya making the creation, no, with its three gunas. With its three gunas, the Maya is making creation at three levels. Therefore, everything in this world exists at three levels. What are the three? Adhyatma level, Adi Bhautika level, Adi Daivika level. Adhyatma level, inside me, Adi Bhautika in front of me, Adi Daivika beyond. That's what he says. Adhyatmekam ata adidaivam adibhutam anyatu. Vaikarikaha trividaha. The Srishti is made in these three forms. Transcendental, in front of me and within me. Everything is three forms. Adidaivika, Adibhutika, Adibhautika, Adhyatmika. So, okay. Examples he is giving some of them. Drugrupamarkam vapuratra randhre parasparam siddhyati yasvatakhe atmaya desham aparoya adyaha swayanubhutya kila siddha siddhi evam tvagadi shravanadi chakshuhu jihvadi nasadi chachitta yuktam. So, the three are there. Like one Srishti. Let us say of the vision. The ability to see in me is called as Adhyatmika Srishti. The vision, the Drishti ability. Then the ability to see when it is there in me is fulfilled only when there is something to be seen. There is something to see. Then only, no? Therefore, all the rupas in the world are created for the eye to see. Without them, what is the use of the vision? So those all forms are the Adibhautika Srishti for the eye to see. Now, the things are there, the eye is there. But if the things are not illumined, and behind the eye, the ability to see is not illumined, then the interaction between them, that my eye is here, the form is seen, that won't happen. The knowledge of seeing will not happen. Is it not? Therefore, the Bhagavan Surya is there to illuminate the world and illuminate the eye, the chakshu. He is called Adhidaivika. Adhidaivika Surya, Adhyatmika Surya, Adhibhautika Surya, Adi Paramatma. So the eye is Adhyatmika Surya. Then the Rupas are Adhibhautika and the Surya illuminating is Adhidaivika. These three, they are there because of which the seeing is possible. And what is the pure Paramatma? Paramatma is beyond these three expressions of Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika. But these are all the expression of Maya or Trigunatmika Prakriti with which the creation is made. And these three are mutually interconnected. If Adi Daivika Shakti is not there, Srishti, then Adi Adhyatmika cannot see the Adi Bhautika. If the Adi Bhautika is not there, then what will the Adi Devikas help? Help the Adhyatmika. If the Adi Bhautika not there, dekhne ko. So too, if Adhyatmika is not there in me, what will the Adi Bhautika and Adi Devika Srishti will do? It won't do. It's mutually इन तीनों से सृष्टि बन रहा है. That Adi Devika कौन? अधिष्ठान देवतास. Adhyatmika you can say is Indriyas, and Adi Bhautika is Shabda Sparsha Rupa Sagandha. And all these three are the Maya with these three gunas. Here we can say the Indriyas are by Rajaguna, the Daiva Shaktis are by Sattva Guna, the Bhuta Prapancha Rupa Nama, Adi Shabda Sparsha Rupa Sagandha are from the Tamasic Shakti. In the transcendental Paramatma, transcendental, none of them are there. These are all the discussions we are doing very elaborately from the standpoint of the world perceived by us at this moment right now. But these all on the seat of meditation for that individual are dissolved into the cause. Finally, the cause is kept aside. You will experience your own self, which is all pervading, permeating. None of these are there. Then the question remains, how the jnana of Jivan Muktas are there, then conducting the same world? Then say, none of these are there. Even if they are there, they are not other than him. Is it not? The Bheda between Paramatma and Jagat goes away. Please remember, Jagat has to be separated from only to recognize the Paramatma. After that, the recognition of Paramatma is certified only when you see him in the Jagat everywhere. जगत को छोड़ो, परमात्मा मिलते हैं. परमात्मा मिला है साबित होता है जगत में जब उनको आप देखते हो. That's why सार्वात्म्य भाव, सर्वम आत्मा एव. यत्र तो आत्मा एव सर्वम अभूतु. आत्मा उपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति. सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि च आत्मनि. These are all should tell us the world is the cause for our bondage, but withdrawing from the world is the cause of liberation. Then seeing the Lord only in the world again is a proof that we have seen the self or the God. Okay. Then Drugrupa Markam Vapuratra Randhre Parasparam Siddhyati Yaha Swatah Khe. Then Atma Yadesham Aparaha. The self is apara, is beyond all these three. Ya Adyaha, who is even there when these three have not got manifested through his own Maya or Prakriti. Swaya Anubhutya. But he can be experienced by himself only when we reach to him. Swaya Anubhutya. Then Akila Siddha Siddhi. And he is the one staying there, making everything possible. Akila Siddha Siddhi means Akila Siddha means experience. Akila Siddha means for all experiences. Siddhi means his presence is the cause. Something different that Paramatma, he thoda sa कठिन होता है समझने में. He is there untouched by everything, and in his presence only the Maya is functional. In his presence only the Trigunas of the Maya become functional. In his presence only the Trigunas go to making of the causal, subtle and gross. Paramatma is everywhere there because of his presence, everything is happening, but he is not touched by anything. Nine, a giant machine is working with so many parts. Electricity is flowing through that everywhere. In anywhere the connection is not there, flow of electricity is there, not there, that part won't work. At the same time, electricity though is facilitating the individual working of the every part, total mutual combining working of everything, it is not touched by any one of them. You see, is it not? Interesting. He is that word Siddha, Akila Siddha Siddhi. Evam Tvagadi. Shravanadi, Chakshuhu. This is how you can calculate the Srushti in the three forms of Adhyatma, Adibhautika, Adidevika. So Adhyatma is ability to see. Adibhautika is of forms and shapes and colors. Adidevika is the Surya Bhagavan, Aditya. Paramatma is beyond all these three. He is only a Sakshi. He is only a witness from this standpoint. From his own standpoint, he alone is there, none of these are there. That is where our ultimate goal, which is not likely at all, first of all. First of all, हमको तो भगवान की कृपा से इस जगत के सारे सुख भोग चाहिए. उससे पहले भगवान की कृपा है तो मेरे शत्रु के हाथ पैर टूट जाए. We are at that level of demand. To transcend all the upadhi and upadhi kruta jagat and reach Paramatma, that desire itself is a result of thousands of lives of study of Shastra. It's only beginning we are doing. Now you can see the skin is in me. Then the touch are the touches which are belong to Adi Bhautika Srishti. Then the Vayu Deva is the Adi Daivika. Vayu Deva is only a facilitator. Paramatma only through Maya Shakti is expressing as Vayu for facilitating the charma in me to have the experience of the touches which are around, whichever is coming in touching. And always remember, touch is not always outside the body, it is inside also. That's why you see in the stomach, when the stomach ache comes, what is stomach ache? It is a touch experience only. And it is a blessing of God. If that experience of stomach ache is not there, what is going wrong, we will not observe and understand. Then we will keep on doing the wrong and we die. Every disease is a blessing of God. That he is hinting at that something is going wrong. Like hunger and thirst are the first diseases. If they are not there, then you will not put food to the body, then you will die only. The body will die. Every disease is a blessing of God. You understand? That we don't like every dukkha is a blessing of God because it is removing all papa. But हमको दिमाग सूक्ष्म रूप से काम नहीं करता. We only take very sthula. So what do you mean by aching of stomach? Where is it happening? It is happening inside inner layer of stomach. That also is touch. So the touch that the touch is belonging to Adibhautika. Skin is the one which gives the touch. It's called Adhyatmika. Ayu Bhagavan is the one is in the Adi Daivika. Clear? In the same way, you can say many of the things. The ear, the sound as a Dig Devata. Clear? The ear, the ability to listen, Shravana Indriya is Adhyatmika. The sounds are in the Adibhautika Jagat. Then the Dig Devata is the Devata who is Adhyatmika expression. All three put together, experience of sound is coming. Shabdam, wonderful. Same way we can say the tongue, the tasting ability is Adhyatmika. All the tastes belong to Adibhautika Srishti. But Varuna Deva is the one who is in the Adi Daivika. So, तीनों के combination से अनुभव हो रहे हैं हमको. All these three are outcome of three gunas. Three gunas have come from Prakriti or Maya. None of them will work without the presence of Lord. Presence of the Lord is in the form of Satta in them. Presence of the Lord is in the form of Atma in them. Or He is there in them as the Satta, as their Atma. Because first of all, they have to exist. That existence is Paramatma there. परमात्मा सबके अंदर आत्मा के रूप में है, मतलब एग्जिस्टेंस के रूप में. दिस अंदर इज नॉट घर के अंदर, घर के बाहर. The under, the inner, these words in Vedanta, they tell us about the primordial cause. Primordial cause is Sat only. So सबके अंदर सत्य है, सत्य के ही अलग अलग बाहर रूप है. Little bit think about it. Now, in the same way, we have seen the nose, Granendriyam. Smells are all belonging to Adi Bhautika Srishti. Then the Ashwini Devatas are said to be the Adi Daivika Devatas there. Okay, now we can go into the Sukshma Sharira also. Mana is the Adhyatmika. Sankalpa Vikalpa belong to Adi Bhautika. Chandrama belongs to Adi Daivika. So to Buddhi, Adhyatmika. All the knowledges belong to the Adi the Bhautika. Then Buddhe, Brahaspati, or sometimes Brahma, it is said, he is the Adi Daivika. Then the Chitta is Adhyatmika. All the Smritis belong to Adi Bhautika. And then Vasudeva is the God there, he is called as Adi Daivika. So to Ahankaram, inside me, called as Adhyatmika. Then with whatever I identify with, it belongs to Adi Bhautika. And then Rudra is the Devata for Ahankara. So Ahankarasya Rudraha. In this way, when we go on contemplating a long time, then an idea will come that this world is not as vaguely happening as we imagine. There is a role of these three. Then we can go next to contemplative level, where from these three are coming. They are called Trigunas. Where from Gunas are coming? From the Prakriti or Maya. Whose presence Prakriti Maya is functioning is Paramatma. Means the understanding of the functioning is the first step. To dissolve the functioning, to go to that Paramatma in whom there is no functioning at all. This is what Bhagavan explained to us to begin with. Then, Yosau Gunakshobha Kruto Vikaraha Pradhana Mulatmatah Prasutaha Aham Tribhut Moha Vikalpa Hetuhu Vaikarikastamas Aindriyascha. Then who is doing Shobha in the Gunas? So Yahasau Gunakshobha Krutaha. Yaha Asau Gunakshobha Krutaha. Who is doing Shobha in the Gunas? Another expression of Paramatma called a Kalam. Then Pradhana Mulat Mahatah Prasutaha. It has got Pradhana as the Mula, and from the Pradhana it is experienced as Mahat. And this Mahat is influenced by this Kala, because of which there is a Shobha happening, because of which the three levels of expression in the world are happening. Aham Trivruta Moha Vikalpa Hetuho Vaikarika Taimasaha Indriyascha. In the simple words, from the Avyakta Prakriti, when the Mahat Tattva came, in the Mahat Tattva, the Kala functions. When the Kala functions, the Mahat Tattva takes the shape of three Ahankaras, Vaikarika, Tamasa, Rajasa. In these three Ahankaras, from these three Ahankara, all these three what we said so far, the Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika are born. From the Tamasic Ahankara, Adi Bhautika is born. From the Rajasic Ahankara, Adi Adhyatmika is born. From Satvika Ahankara, Adi Daivika are born, which we were seeing 3-4 times earlier also. Then, what is Atma then? Self is none of these things. It is untouched by it. It is never falling in. These are all about Srushti. This is only an explanation, not to prove the Srushti, but to transcend Srushti. This Srushti appears to be so real, and in that reality of Srushti, the self appears to be so vague or confusing that the perceivers of Atma only have defined the Atma as in so many forms. And all of them have defined only, not experienced. Here exactly we match up with what is said by Mandukya Rishi or Karikakara Gaudapada in our 4th Alata Prakarana 15 shlokas back. Is it not? Asti nasti asti nasti iti nasti nasti iti va punah chalastiro bhaya abhavaihi avrunoti shabalishaha. Same shloka. Atma परिज्ञानमयः विवादः अस्ति नास्ति इति भिदा अर्थनिष्ठः व्यर्थः अपि न एव उपरमते पुंसां मत्तः परावृतधियां स्वलोकात्. So these shlokas talk a very sublime topic. It needs half an hour. I'll explain tomorrow. Those whose attention has not fully focused on me through bhakti or atma jnana nishtha, for them only the concepts are made and they are caught up in that concept of the Atma. Some say ये है, some say नहीं है, some say कि कोई कभी है कभी नहीं है, कोई कहता है ही नहीं. The absolute Shunyavadin say there is nothing called Bhagavan. The Jainas say as long as Jiva is there, Atma is there. When the Jiva dies, or as long as Sharira is the Atma is there. When the Sharira dies, there is no Atma. They are called as Asti-Nastivadi. Nasti Nasti Shunyavadi. Then the Nastivadi are Kshanikavadi. Kshanika Bauddhas. Then Kshanikavadi is Nastivadi. And Astivadi are Vaisheshikas. So Vaisheshika, Kshanikavada Buddha, Jainadi, then the Sunyavadi Buddha. Four of them talk as one is say Asti, one is Nasti, one is Asti Nasti, one is Nasti Nasti. About this, all of their intellectual understandings. Self-experience is beyond. When you experience it, then only you know all these are concepts. That's why Bhagavan Karikakara, from that portal, he says, these are all the people who are conceptualizing self and they are only at that level, they are all Balishaha. Chalastiro Bhaya Bhavaya Avrunotyeva Balisha. Tomorrow day after also it will come. Now, here, so far what is studied today is the परमात्मा के प्रेजेंस में माया के तीन गुणों के शोभन के कारण तीन तरह का सृष्टि बनता है. जब जीव होते हैं, हमारे जीव के अंदर के अंतःकरण में भी इन तीनों के गुणों के प्रकोप से ही अलग अलग मॉडिफिकेशंस वृत्तियों के होते हैं. So the outer world is created by three gunas, and in each jiva the modifications are happening in the antakarana, which is a product of Maya only. In that the modifications are happening because three gunas. And what is Atma in all this drama? It is untouched Sakshi. And forgetting that Atma as himself, the one who is caught up in this Trigunatmaka Maya is you and I Jiva. What is our sadhana? By detaching ourselves from everything belonging and related to three gunas, we have to identify with ourselves. Detaching from the three gunas is by increasing sattva guna in us, and first detach from both rajas and tamas. In that also, by increasing rajas, we have to detach from tamas. By increasing sattva, we have to detach from the rajas. And then sattva we have to employ in reaching to our discovering in our understanding and abiding in the true real self. While the experience of self dawns, even that sattva guna also is transcended. Then the Trigunatita, Mayatita, Prakriti Atita, Karya Karana Atita. Then this Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika Atita, Ekameva Advayam Paramatma, we will experience. So, that is the meaning of Matta Paravrata Dhyam. Those whose antakaranas are not introverted to trace the true self, their antakaranas only are caught up in the web of all these. And two things Bhagavan says. Tomorrow we'll talk more. This entire creation, our involvement in the creation, our trying to understand creation, all of them is vyartha only. And yet, such a funny aspect or influence of Maya that we don't do the Uparama from it. Like every day IPL match. अब कितना देखोगे, एक पैसा उससे फायदा कुछ है क्या? Unless you are betting and all. We are happy, but now Uparamate. So many movies we see. So much. What is इतना ही है ना? But somehow उसका जो चस्का मस्का होता है ना, we don't do the Uparama only. Otherwise, पारमार्थिक दृष्टि से व्यर्थ only. That is the power of Maya. I like this sentence. व्यर्थः अपि न एव उपरमते. ना हम उसको छोड़ते, no हमको छोड़ते. Like the whole day, these retired people sit and talk hours together. व्यर्थः, but not uparamate. You can see all morning, evening, every ground. They sit for, they go for jogging, they do some jogging, then they sit, then lakhs, like crores are doing like that. But you can't touch them. Huh? They will revolt and say, lifelong we slept in the office, now we are sleeping the ground. Or we worked so much, that's a time for us to relax. But I can't tell them, Bhaiya, that was time to serve world. No, it is time for your own inner unfoldment. Respect है, जानना चाहते हैं तो बोल सकते. नहीं तो नहीं सुनने को तैयार है तो कैसे कह सकते. व्यर्थः. At one level, all these bug lecture also is व्यर्थ only. Then you have to aim at the self. In that way, the Shastra Vasana also we have to give up. We saw it in the morning class also. Clear? In this way, these slokas little bit touched upon. Then again we'll summarize tomorrow. Then Uddhavji will again ask a question. Ki, your presence, your Maya, that the beings do this or that. They get various dehas in the various janma. थोड़ा उसके बारे में बताओ. To an answer to this question in the next 24 shlokas, what Bhagavan says is a very important knowledge. Essence again of all Upanishads, Vedanta. We try our best to understand it. Thank you. Sarvam Krishna Arpanam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namah Paramanushabhyo Namah Parabrahmane Namah Srutimatre Namah Om Tat Sat Brahmarunamastu. Krishna Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Thank you, friends, for your attempt to be regular, serious, sincere, to listen to भागवत. पिछले 6 महीने से इस भागवत में कोई भगवान की लीलाएं नहीं सुना रहे हैं, तत्व तत्व ही चल रहा है.